difference between the living entity and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is that the living entity is prone to be subjected to material nature, whereas the Supreme Godhead is always transcendental to the material nature as well as to the living entities. When the living entity is put into material nature, then his senses and qualities are polluted or designated. There is no possibility for the Supreme Lord to become embodied by material qualities or material senses, for he is above the influence of the material nature and cannot possibly be put in darkness of ignorance like the living entities. Because of his full knowledge, he is never subjected to the influence of material nature. Material nature is always under his control, and is therefore not possible that the material nature can control the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since the identity of the living entity is very minute, he is prone to be subjected to material nature. But when he is freed from the material body, which is false, he attains the same spiritual nature as the Supreme Lord. At that time, there is no qualitative difference between him and the Supreme Lord. But because he is not so quantitatively as powerful, as to never be put under the influence of material nature, he is quantitatively different from the Lord. The entire process of devotion service is to purify oneself of this contamination of material nature and put oneself on the spiritual platform, where he is qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is said that the living entity is always free. Asango hi ayam purushaha. The living entity is liberated. His material contamination is temporary, and his actual position is that he is liberated. This liberation is achieved by Krishna consciousness, which begins from the point of surrender. Therefore, it is said here, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Person. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So, very nicely here it is explained how this body of Panchabhuta Rachite Rahitaha Sharire, Channaha, it covers our senses and qualities with the ahankara that I am this body. But I offer my obeisances to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never obscured by illusion, who is all-knowing, and who is transcendental to Prakriti and Purusha, all kinds of living entities. Prakriti, Purushayoho, Pumamsam. Material nature, then Purushayo to all living entities, Pumamsam unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defined the soul as. Krishna defined the soul as Mamai Vamsha Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defined the soul. He further revealed the soul as the eternal servant of Krishna. When you say Mamai Vamsha Jivaloke, of course Krishna, the personality is speaking. My Amsha means your Amsha personalities. But many can interpret Amsha means maybe some impersonal Amsha, some absolute truth Amsha. Because Krishna himself, they don't believe is the supreme absolute truth. They think that something else which is absolute truth is manifest as Krishna. So therefore they tend to think that we are also Amshas, impersonal Amshas. It is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who very explicitly defined that Jivera Surupohe Nityara Krishnadas. Very important it is. Nowhere else we get this definition of who is the soul. What is the soul? Aham Brahmasmi, spirit. But who is the soul? Aham Brahmasmi. If the Aham Brahmasmi is a person, then who is the soul? He is the eternal servant of the Supreme Soul, Supreme Person, Krishna. So this fact is an eternal fact. It is an eternal existential relationship of every one of us in our heart. That is my existence. My existence means I am part and parcel servant of Krishna. We always say of self-realization. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I want to know who am I? I want to know who am I? No, I am not this body, but I am the spirit, part and parcel servant of Krishna. Here it is said that the gross material body, it covers our indriyas and qualities. It doesn't say that the indriyas and qualities manifest because the soul is covered. That's what the Mayavadis say. Here it is said that the Pancha Indriya, Panchabhuta, Rahite Rahitaha, separated Sharire, Channa, that covers our Indriya and qualities. And Prabhupada translates, I am separated from the Supreme Lord because of my being in the material body, which is made of 5 elements. And therefore, my qualities and senses are being misused. That means the soul has qualities of personhood. What are the qualities of personhood? Thinking, feeling, willing. It is not that thinking, feeling, willing is generated by 3 modes of material nature. Thinking, feeling and willing are the inherent, intrinsic qualities of the soul as a person. And that thinking, feeling, willing can be influenced by the duplicate robotic thinking, feeling, willing of this yantra. This material energy has created a robot which is almost like the spiritual body, minus the soul. Isn't it? Just like with artificial intelligence, they now are creating robots. You'll go into the kitchen, they'll clean everything and wash the pots and everything. But there is no being inside that. There is no soul inside that. This body is a robot. Nobody can create, no human being can create a robot of this type. With so billions of nerve cells and brain cells and trillion cells, the brain, more than trillion operations, multi-trillion operations going on at a time. When I'm speaking now, multi-trillion operations are going on in the head. When you are hearing, so many operations are going on in your head. The robot. But what is the result of this robot? To create an impression of thinking, feeling, willing, and influence our original thinking, feeling, willing, desiring, thinking, feeling, willing, experiencing. A robot cannot experience. Only a soul can experience. A dead body cannot experience. Only spirit can experience. So the quality of experiencing, quality of sensing. Sensing means sense objects. That means quality of recognizing sense objects, senses. They all belong to the soul. Soul is a person. Soul is a person who has forgotten that he is the eternal servant of Krishna. Therefore it said, therefore my qualities and senses are being misused. Prabhupada is translating, is misused. Although I am essentially spiritual. How it is misused? In the spiritual world, I have a sense of being a body, my spiritual body. That sense of being a body is misused by giving a material body and making you feel that I am this body. In the spiritual world, we have a sense of our senses. We feel I have eyes, I have karma indriya and jnana indriya. The spiritual world also there is karmendriya and it's a fundamental nature of soul. Action and knowledge is fundamental nature of the soul. This material world's material panchabhutas, karmendriya and jnana are covering our real spiritual karmendriya and jnana. That spiritual karmendriya and jnana are not made up of matter. It is chinmaya. Chinmaya jnana and karmendriya. The spirit soul, its nature is to acquire knowledge. So it has got 5 sense of acquiring knowledge. Sense of acquiring knowledge is different. Finally, gross senses which acquire the knowledge is different. Here, there it is no difference. It's all chinmaya. Sense of working. The 5 senses of karmendriya. The soul's nature is to lift, is to walk, this is a karmendriya, nature. So that is also being misused to make us think that this body's hands, legs, everything is my karmendriya. Once that illusion is completed, what is that illusion? I am this body, all my bodily indriyas are my karmendriyas and jnana indriyas. Then the next level of illusion begins. What is that? The senses require sense objects. Jnana indriyas require jnana sense objects. Taste, smell, touch, all those things. You start believing that yes, there is taste here, there is smell here, there is everything here. But actually it's all triggering of things in the material world. Inherently, a taste does not exist. You take a rasgulla here, inherently taste does not exist. Taste requires to fall on your tongue and tongue to convert it and experience it as sweet. But in the spiritual world, every object has its own intrinsic sensibilities. A rasgulla in spiritual world knows it is sweet. He is sweet. Rasgulla is sweet. Here the rasgulla does not know it is sweet. You have to put on the mouth and you have to think it is sweet. The whole system of illusion is created, so it is sweet. So inherently, objectively, intrinsically, sense objects in this material world are called false sense objects because they are not real sense objects which have those intrinsic qualities which are supposed to induce in the senses. Now the Supreme Lord is transcendental to material nature and living entities, and because he is devoid of a material body, because he always glories in his spiritual qualities, I offer my obeisances unto him. So the Supreme Lord is also a person. We are also persons. He is an unlimited person. He is a supreme person. And supreme person lives with so many unlimited persons. That is existence. Some unlimited persons are in the spiritual world, some limited persons are in the material world. And everything is meant for his enjoyment. Because there is only one common person who is a whole, all others are parts. Anandamayobhyasat, everything exists for his pleasure. When you say his pleasure, his spiritual pleasure includes the spiritual pleasure of all his parts and parcels. May not include material pleasures. But it includes, you pour water in the root of the tree, when Krishna is pleased, all of this real existence is pleased. So sometimes we say here, if Krishna is pleased, everybody will be pleased. But here you see, you please Krishna, father is not happy, mother is not happy, they are not happy, so many people are not happy. How do you say when Krishna is pleased, everybody is pleased? When Krishna is pleased, the souls of the father, mother, everybody is pleased, but they cannot sense it. When Krishna is pleased, and if, let us say, somebody wants to dedicate his life to Prabhupada, Krishna is pleased, then the father, mother, everybody, actually the souls are all, when they are getting transcendental benefit from Krishna, Krishna's blessings, Is it not a transcendental asset and a transcendental pleasure for them also? Yes, it is, but they cannot experience it. Whether money is in your pocket or somebody puts in your bank account, money is yours only. Correct? So now they're not able to appreciate that money in the bank account is mine, but it is there. This life, next life, or any life, that punya that the parents get is unlimited, materially also. So Krishna's pleasure means pleasure of total existence. This understanding must be there. We should not think that Krishna's pleasure, it's some kind of a, all of you please me, all of you suffer. I am the only enjoyer, you are not the enjoyer. Krishna is saying, I am the only enjoyer because you are also included in my enjoyment. When I say I don't see any separation between me and you. When you say I, you separate and see. Krishna is in perfect knowledge. When Krishna says I, he means I and all his part and parcels. So, since the identity of the living entity is very minute, is prone to subject to material nature. So basically, the living entity is of Chit Vastu. Chit Maya is called Chinmaya. It is Chit Vastu, it is Chinmaya. The spirit is Chinmaya Vastu. Even now, very interesting thing Prabhupada is quoting here. The Vedas say that the living entity is always free. Very interesting. Even now we are all free. We means who? The spirit's soul. In the Vedas it is said that the living entity is always free. Of course, this is a philosophical statement. Asango hi ayam purushaha. The living entity is liberated. Why? Because he is spirit, no? His material contamination is temporary and his actual position is that he is liberated. Because temporary does not constitute existence. That's a definition of Krishna. That is not existence. Temporary means it is an experience, it is not existence. One should differentiate between existence and sat and experience, asat experience. This material world is not an existence, it's an asat experience. So therefore, the living entity who is pure existence, who are we? We are pure existence. Even this I am this material body is an experience. You are mistaking the seen to be the seer. Seer is existence. Spirit is existence. It's very important to understand difference between experience and existence. Existence means truth, sat. Experience need not be sat. In the spiritual world, the experience is, suppose I say I am not this body. It is a sat experience. I am servant of Krishna, I am not this body. It is a sat experience. That means it is a true experience of who we are. When you say I am this body, that is a sat experience, that is called false ego. Ego is real. When the ego is mistaken to be the animated body, who is animating the body? Real ego. Because matter cannot have ego. Matter cannot have ego. Something that influences the ego is called false ego. Ego is a characteristic, ego is a quality of spirit. So something that influences my real ego is called false ego. What is that influence? This body is my existence. This material world appears to be existence, but it is an persistent illusion. An illusion that does not appear to be falling apart. But with little intelligence, you can see it is not persistent. This body is going away. From childhood, babyhood, going to death. So this persistent illusion is appearing to be existence, because it is a quality of existence is what? It should persist. That which is eternal, that which never dies. So that persistence, quality of persistence is falsely created in our experience. It is not externally created. Externally it is illusion only. So that experience is false ego. The experience that I am this body is false ego. Even now, as I many times said, when we are in illusion, I am this body, the soul which is Chit, the soul which is Chinmaya, is in bodily concept and leading a life. Is in bodily concept and living a life. This gross body is only a medium. If you remember your gross body, then you cannot enjoy your body. Especially if you remember all the internal organs. You cannot enjoy at all. The truth is something else. What we experience, what we think our body, the bodily concept of life. I am this body, I have hands, I have legs, I have senses. This bodily concept which we have mapped into ourselves. That is why it is called illusion. So it is in a perception. Illusion is a perception. This body is not illusion. Oh, I am not this body, these bodies are all illusion. No, don't say that. Illusion is only can be exist. Illusion and reality and truth and reality can only be a fact, a matter of perception, no? Something that you are perceiving a rope to be a snake. This is not a description about whether there is rope or whether there is snake. Rope and snake exist somewhere. You are seeing the rope as a snake. I am seeing this body as you. But the real body of anybody is only there in the spiritual body. The real body is only a spiritual body. A plastic snake is not a snake. But a plastic snake is a plastic snake. Similarly, this body is not a spiritual body, but it is a body. There is something there. That is what I am seeing, that I am seeing a rope. There is a rope. That rope I am seeing a snake. There is something there, reality. Similarly, there is Panchabhuta here. Panchabhuta Sharira is created by Maya. I am seeing that. That is not illusion. But I am mistaking that to be my real eternal body. Just because it persists and slowly it gets old. Not very fast. That way we are very lucky, because on the earth, with little thinking you can see, oh, growing old and dying. They say that is why in the heavenly planets very difficult for self-realization, because their illusion is persisting in an undetectable manner. You require a lot of jijnasa to say that, I am not this body. But here you do, every other day you see on the road on Smashana somebody is being carried. And each one of us recall our father dying, mother dying, grandfather dying, and all those things, and other people's father, mother dying. And as we grow old, you see death and birth becomes a stark reality for everybody, even for a karmi. So that is a very good ground for questioning, then who am I? Who is my eternal self? Anyway, all these things are so easily achieved simply because of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That Shakti, that Viveka, that intelligence, that inner eyes of knowledge to open, you need to associate with the Supreme Sat, Chit, Ananda, the Shabda, Nama, Avatara. If our attention touches that, these things become very apparent. These are not philosophies. These are self-realizations. These are facts about ourselves. That requires spiritual intelligence. Spiritual intelligence has to flow into us from somewhere. Otherwise we'll be dumb. Just like, you see, we as devotees, we see karmis who have not come to Krishna consciousness as so dumb. Hey, what is the difference between you and them? Both are same. No, you got more realizations about self. You extend that. One day you get full realization. Now you see few days chanting, you are seeing a difference between them and us. If they tell you you are the body, you will say I am not the body. If you tell them you are not the body, they will say I am the body. That is their realization. Any questions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you told about that existential and experiential pleasure. So here in this world it is experiential. For example, this moment I am enjoying something, tomorrow it becomes an experience. So in spiritual world it exists means how can I understand, in the sense, since there is no influence of time, so anything for a moment I am experiencing, how does it persist?
It persists because you never forget it. You never forget it. Here you forget, gone into oblivion. Your last life, whatever happened, all those experiences are gone, disappeared. But in the spiritual world, you will remember your yesterday's experience with Krishna, eternally. Every experience is eternal. That is why Krishna's Leelas are eternal, they say. So everything, experience in the spiritual world is something that manifests and unmanifests, but it is eternal.
Okay, Prabhu, but in this world also, the past experience sometimes comes as a nostalgia, like when
only because of the brain. You take away your brain, you scoop out your brain, will the memory be there?
It appears to be real, like, oh, I did 5 years.
It appears to be. That is Maya's efficiency. Maya is very expert. Even one accident you have forgotten. Your brain shakes a bit, all forgotten. Because it's not captured by the soul. It is not part of the internal potency, these experiences. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, this is regarding theory on mistaken identity. So this theory also talks about the same thing, that the color that we are seeing is not the color that we are seeing is not the original color, because in this human body this is appearing as this yellow color. In rat or snake, same thing will be appeared as a different things. Like when we are eating something, because of certain chemical reactions, we are feeling it as a sweet and sour. So
Not
this
only chemical reaction, the total effect, mind,
Total effect.
body, intelligence, it's a full mechanism. Maya's, this robot creates that impression, end result.
impression. So the theory couldn't able to provide that. As per that, it also accepts that everything what we are seeing is also an illusion, and we are just experiencing it.
No, everything that you see is not illusion.
I mean, it's not completely real. What we are seeing is a part of the truth. It's not the complete truth.
What you think you are seeing is not real.
Not real. Yes.
But what is outside is real.
Yes, bro.
Okay, next.
Okay. So can you further elaborate on how these bondages develop out of this illusion?
How do we?
How these bondages develop out of these illusions?
How the bondages
Develop out of this illusion.
Just like you can see how one of the most important faculties of the soul is identifying. Just like desiring, thinking, feeling, willing, there is a faculty called identifying. You can identify yourself as something else. That freedom is there for the living entity. So first you identify, I am this. Then one world is weaved around that I. So starting point is identification. For that you have used your free will to identify being. Being is what I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to be a man, I want to be a woman, I want to be. After being, I want to enjoy as a man and enjoy as a woman. I want to enjoy as a king. I want to enjoy as a demigod. I want to enjoy as. First is I want to be. I want to be, then I desire, then I think, feel, will, then I want to enjoy. These are the qualities of person. You want to be. So this ability to be is a very powerful ability. By continuously hearing, I am not this body, I am servant of Krishna, is your real being. Is your real being. So I should awaken my real being, and I should not think I am this being, that being, I should not think. So this, a very good example is when you watch a movie. How easily you go out of the real world and go into the movie world? By process of identification. And whatever you are seeing in the movie, the sukha and dukkha, you are experiencing it. How are you experiencing it? Starting point is identification. If everything is based on identification, then the sukha and dukkha, if all your experiences from the movie is based on identification, all your sukha and dukkha that you are experiencing is also identified experience. It is not your direct sukha and dukkha. Even bondage is an identified experience. The living entity is, that's the meaning of time. Existentially looking at it, the living entity is always liberated. Because it is spirit. You have created that bondage. Experientially we have created that bondage. Existentially, no. Experientially you have created that bondage. And Maya, material energy, is capable of creating that experiential bondage for the eternal jiva. Whereas Maya energy cannot create that for the Supreme Lord. That is what is said there.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
It's a fact that from the Shastras we understand that I'm not the body, I'm the spirit soul. But why is that it becomes so difficult to understand this, or experience, at least on the experiential level even?
Huh?
Why is that it becomes so difficult to get to know this fact that I'm not this?
Because it is not simply a fact. As we said, the spirit soul is a person. Identifying is one aspect of it. Why does he identify, first of all? Behind it, there is something else. He has a desire to be independent of Krishna. Huh? So, philosophically we talk, you are not the body and all those things. Don't identify and all. But as long as your engine is running inside, what is that? My spiritual desire to be independent of Krishna. You are not aware of it. At the spirit level it is there. Forgetfulness of Krishna is there. That is the reason why it is difficult. Because it is designed to cater to our need to be independent of the Lord. It is designed to cater to, as long as that you don't pull out that from your heart, the desire for independent existence. By increasing your dependence on Krishna, by understanding I am dependent on Krishna, Krishna is maintaining, Krishna is providing me, Krishna is, everything is, protecting me, Krishna is my eternal relative. Unless all these things are cultured into ourselves, and then that our subtle body starts vibrating in that natural frequency of the spirit soul, you prove yourself first with your material body that you don't want to be independent. That's what Krishna is saying. You prove yourself with your material body and senses that you want to be a Vaishnava by first making your body, mind, this material system into a Vaishnava. You make that. Vaishnava means what? At the root of it is to please Krishna. You convert this material body into that, immediately your disidentification, I will just knock it off like this. As long as you want that, as long as you want independence, the system runs. So therefore, by jnanic process, whatever you do, unless you remove that root desire to be independent of the Lord, by jnanic process, you cannot come out of the bodily concept of life. One way or the other, you will fall down. Neti, neti, neti will not work. Then you say, why for devotees it should work? Oh, devotee, okay. Become a devotee then. We are not at devotees. For this world, we are devotees. We are not at devotees. Devotee means, his only interest is pleasure of Krishna. So we have to evolve to that. We have to purify. We have to evolve. Paramatma is seated in our heart. How much determined you are to cleanse yourself of all your past things? How much you are ready? It's a very nice process, exciting process. God is there to help with you. In other processes, it goes by karma. But here, there is one process. If you want to get liberated, full support is going to be given by Paramatma, Chaitya Guru.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. You mentioned that sense of applying knowledge of spiritual world is different from the sense of acquiring knowledge of this world. This in relation to what is the function of Jnanendriyas there and Jnanendriyas here. Is this because of the...
No. It is, in the spiritual world also we have a concrete body of internal potency. We have a concrete body. But the spirit has the sense of being a body. It has got the sense of seeing, sense of touching, sense of smelling. That is what is contaminated by this material body, by a body of external energy. Here there is external energy which is not spirit, and I am spirit. But there everything is spirit. Body is spirit, self is spirit. But the basic sense of seeing, don't say eyes. Don't think eyes when I say sense of seeing. It's a subtle thing, it's a sense of seeing. Does this microphone have a sense of seeing? No. Why? Because it does not have eyes. That's what you say? No. It does not have sense of seeing. Eyes is only one part. At the end of the chain. Gross eyes. There is subtle mind. Subtle, then finally mind is behind the mind, the intelligence, then finally the real spirit is there. If the spirit does not have a sense of seeing, that sense of the person who with that sense of seeing leaves the body, this eye cannot see, mind cannot see, anybody cannot see. So that sense of seeing is covered now with these material seeings. But it is the same sense of seeing of the spirit which is there also.
So is this sense of seeing, is it from acquisition of knowledge point of view or applying knowledge point of view?
Both, input, output. Jnana Indriya means both for input and output. You take knowledge in and to take knowledge out. Jnana Indriya means input, output. Jai Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.